I'm Scott.
I'm Russell.
And I'm Leo. This is Spitball. Welcome to Spitball, where three antique adventurers and a guest empty our heads of startup and tech product ideas that we have stuck up in there so you can all have them for free. Anything that we say is yours to keep. And this week, I am so beyond excited to welcome Alec to our show. Alec is a YouTuber with I'm coming up on 3 million subscribers. He is a heat pump enthusiast, car guy, tech guy, appliance guy, explainer of all things old and new tech. Alec, welcome to Spitball.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
This is going to be so much fun. So, as we do every week, I love to start us off with a warm-up game, and inspired by the many things that I've learned over the years from Alec and his incredible channel, Technology Connections, I should ask, Alec, where do we find Technology Connections?
YouTube.com/Technology Connections? Or are you asking me a different question?
Where do you live, Alec?
Somewhere near Chicago.
Yeah, let's go.
Inspired by the many things I've learned over the years, I've written a game that I'm going to call Groover, Cruiser, or Hoover. So in this one, we've kind of drifted away over the years from fun brand names for stuff like Trinitron. What an incredible thing you could just buy off the shelf 30 years ago, right? And now we have the CX9 or whatever. So this week, I have a list of a bunch of fantastic brand names from the 40s to the 90s of either a Laserdisc player, a car that's usually like an antique prototype car, or a vacuum cleaner. And I'm going to give you the names, and all you got to do is tell me which of the three it is. Laserdisc, car, or vacuum. If I had given you a name like Mondo, you would say that that is the Electrolux canister vacuum, of course, right? All right, Alec, you're up first. The Navy Star. Spelled like it sounds, all one word. Is that a Laserdisc player, a car, or a vacuum?
Is Navy?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with car.
That was a kid-targeted toy Laserdisc player. I found it on eBay. I was like, oh, yeah, I can see that's like a car set.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Scott, the Constellation.
I'm hoping a Laserdisc player.
That's a 1950s canister Hoover vacuum, of course. Russell,
of course.
the FX-Atmos. The letters FX.
That's got to be audio thing. So it's Laserdisc.
The Ford 1954 experimental two-seat rocket car, of course.
Atmos? Like,
No,
oh,
the FX Atmos. It sounded like something AV, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're 0 for 3. Next time through. Alec, the Trilobite.
The Trilobite. I'm going to go with vacuum.
It is. It was a precursor to the Roomba. Electrolux made this little, like, sea bug, prehistoric-looking Roomba thing back in... Geez, I don't even have a date for that.
Alec knew that. I think you knew that, Alec.
No.
You had one of those?
No, I just thought it kind of, like, reminded me of a canister vacuum. And so...
Totally. It's adorable. You guys should look at it. It's from, like, the late 90s, and it's a big, clunky, ugly Roomba. Scott, the Disco Vision. All one word with a capital V.
If this is a vacuum, I'm going to be really mad. So I'm going to say Laserdisc.
It is a Laserdisc player. Well
Okay,
done,
thank God.
everybody. It's MCA's launch era branding for their Laserdisc machines.
And I have one of those.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But it is never going to work.
What does it need? Everything?
I mean, you open it up, it looks like a science fair project. It doesn't look like an actual product.
I've heard the first few years of those Laserdisc players were a little bit shoddy with, yeah. Russell, the Golden Rocket. 2 words.
That's a broom, so I'm going to go with vacuum.
An Oldsmobile 1956 Gold Fleck Coupe. One more time through. Alec, the Avalier, Avalir.
That sounds like a car.
Right? I think so.
It's a Kirby door-to-door deluxe vacuum,
Odd.
whose name sounds like a D&D dragon. Scott, the High Vision, HI-Vision.
Definitely not a car. I'm going to go Laserdisc.
Yeah, it was. Very good. The Pioneer Laserdisc players. Yep. And then lastly, Russell, the Nucleon.
Oh, That's a car. I'm going to just go with car.
It was a nuclear-powered car by Ford. Very good. It was,
that sounds like a disaster.
A nuclear disaster.
Yeah, the 1957 scale model vision of a nuclear-powered family car. Yep. It had a complete reactor pod where the trunk should be. I don't know if it ever actually was like functional, though. I think it was very prototype.
Epcot Ball. I think I saw that in Epcot Future Ride.
Future World, right?
Yep.
Tomorrowland.
That's right.
I think if I kept track right, then Scott, you got 2 out of 3, and we're the only one to do so. So that might mean
guessing
that
Laserdisc for everything.
I think that means you get to go first this week. What do you got for us, bud?
This was probably the hardest game you've ever done, Leo. All right. So my idea this week, this is based on, Alec, I watched one of your videos where you reviewed the FLIR 1 thermal camera, and I love everything thermal camera wise. So we use them all the time at our work. And I, unfortunately, am used to very high-end cameras on here. And everything FLIR is like top of the line going through. And I've always wanted one. And I had an idea for a business a while ago where pretty much I went on AliExpress and I tried to find like the cheapest thermal camera I possibly could. And I bought it and it was an absolute piece of shit just all the way through. Did not work.
Of course.
But quick tangent, Russell and I used to do a startup where we took more expensive hardware and we would rent it to people, and we created a logistical system where we'd send it to them. They would use it. They send it back to us. Always wanted to do that with thermal cameras to the point where you just for home efficiency in general. I'm in the process of buying a house. The insulation on the house is absolute trash. Every room I go in, and I'm like, we're going to have to redo that. And I would love to have one of those high-end thermal cameras where I could just point, maybe connect it to an app and be like, here's all the ways that you can improve the house. Here's a simulation of what it could be if you put in the insulation in these rooms versus what you're at right now. And so the idea this week is buy a bunch of nice thermal cameras, not the cheap AliExpress ones, rent them to customers. Russell, we're going to use your vibe coding and we're going to create an app that can simulate and do the fancy. This is what you could get to. Full-on rental system of hardware. That's what I got.
Okay. So you're making like a map.
Yes. Yep. You were mapping the house.
Map of the home?
Exactly.
A heat map.
I have been thinking of insulation nonstop for like the last week and a half, ever since this inspection, and I'm getting stressed about it. So I want a thermal camera, and I want an excuse to buy one. This seems like a great one.
Okay. You're going to have to compete with libraries that let you check them out for free. So your secret sauce is going to be the mapping part.
I think you could make a fancy, pretty enough app, and you have to only this camera can connect with it in some form.
I would think that if there were, you could probably create it to know based on the outside temperature, basically what heat loss is actually occurring. And probably it would be pretty possible to kind of like give a potential optimization strategy.
As in, like, I have this camera pointed at, I like get a waterproof box for this. I sit it outside the home and I point it at it for several hours or overnight or something, and I'm able to see. Or are you saying like I put a camera on a drone, I fly it up to the roof, and then I leave it there for X amount of time?
Oh, I was actually thinking from the inside of the house, you could look at.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I was thinking inside. Wait, you're saying outside, Scott?
I thought he was in outside.
Oh, okay. I was like,
well, I mean, there's stuff you can learn from the outside as well, but
yeah.
Mostly who's growing weed in your neighborhood, but yes.
The inside is way more like, here's your huge focus areas.
No, I mean, you can see like probably the doors or like certain areas that are colder, right? I mean, the other way around, it probably might be easier to get a better picture, because like interior, you have to like do every wall, every window. You need like 30 of those bad boys. This would just be like 4, maybe 5, and you don't need a drone. You can just put one on a flagpole, you know. You don't need to
rent a flagpole.
But yeah.
There you go. A really long flagpole that you carry around your house.
Antenna.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that FLIR makes a Lightning or a USB-C version for phones too. Is that right?
That's the one that I use, and it's okay.
Really? Okay, that's what I was going to get at. I think iPhones have a LiDAR and have built-in, easy-to-use software-wise APIs for like mapping a room, the 3D space. So it's almost like you could make the software experience for that existing hardware.
That's cool.
Where like it's both LiDARing to make the map and it's doing the like remembering of the various heat spots that you've pointed it at, you know?
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that I would really like to see is the thermal emissivity of different materials affects the accuracy of the reading. And if there were some way that the app could just intelligently recognize I'm looking at vinyl siding, so I need to adjust to this particular value.
Totally.
When we when this inspector came into this house I'm attempting to purchase, I haven't bought a house in a while, I guess. He walked in, he had a 360 camera, he just put it in every room, took a picture, moved in the next room, took a picture next room. And like the inspection report was beautiful. Like I had full 360 shots of everything going through. I have not tried to Google this, but is there a 360 version of a thermal imaging camera? And you have steps set up and you put that in every room and you take pictures. And then maybe, Russell, we go back a couple episodes and we take your box fan idea and we like, you ever see that where they put a box fan on a window and they try to suck all the air out of the house? And then you can see where cold air is coming into the house from all the leaks everywhere.
Whoa.
Oh, that's called a blower door test.
Blower door,
I've
that's
never
what it
heard
is.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so smart.
Combine that
Okay.
with a
I love
360 FLIR camera in every room. Make an app that makes it stupid easy for people. Put it all together.
Wow.
Huh.
There are a lot of people that pay a lot of money for that, Scott. The whole energy industry.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, the power industry. You might get, targeted on a list. It's that good. That's cool. I think if you don't have a 360 camera, you just get 4 FLIRs,
Tape them all
tie them
together.
together. Yeah, 4 different, and that's just it. You mesh the images together or something.
A
There's probably
FLIR and a motor. A little,
Yeah, that's probably going to be the easiest way because
That's a great idea.
I don't have a great understanding of the lenses in thermal imaging, but I know that they're weird, and that's
Yeah.
part of why they're so expensive.
We had at Hope College, we bought a device called a swivel, SWIVL. I don't know if they still make them. This was over 10 years ago, but it was a little stand that you stuck an iPad in or an iPhone in, and it motorized. The whole dang thing was like a 360 mount, and it tracked the person that it was filming for like student teachers. They'd walk around with a little beacon thing and be like,
that's cool.
hey, I'm teaching over here. And the camera would kind of follow them and vice versa. It almost looked like one of those cheap phone holders that you'd get on your desk, but it just was motorized. You almost need something like that to stick the camera in that's like on a tripod where it just sort of looks around. It takes 3 minutes and, slowly, like a pan tilt zoom camera, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very established market.
Just has one button on it. Put in the room, hit button,
Yeah.
exit room.
There you go. It beeps when it's done.
Yeah.
you could be performance-based almost at that point, Scott. Like
Yeah.
performance-based contracting where you're just like, yeah, I'll literally cut your heating and cooling bill in a third.
Here's your energy
Because-
report. Here's how much you will end up saving if you would do these
That's really
steps.
interesting.
We'll take 20% of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or whatever, like
there's
a
of the
year's worth.
savings. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of sketchy people out there that do that. But
Well,
I mean, yeah.
There's some financial services company that you give them your like Verizon bill and your whatever bill, and then they take 20% of whatever money they save, but it doesn't cost you anything to use the service, So if they can't save you any money, then you don't pay anything. But if they can save you money, then whatever, some percentage.
trim.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, trim. That's what it was. That sort
Yeah.
of business model where like, you give them your before and after of your energy bill, and then it doesn't cost the user anything. That'd be cool.
Scott, yeah, and the rental camera thing, FLIRs are so expensive. You only need them for like 30 seconds, right? Yeah, and then you send them back.
I've been stuck on this. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. If you could make it as a little kit, people only need this once, maybe per house.
You could do one in the winter and one in the summer too. Really double down for those.
There you go. You give a
You know,
coupon
the
for half
premium-
off the winter one.
The premium feature is like
Mm-hmm.
twice this,
I mean, it would be useful to have data for both heating and cooling. I don't know how easy it would be to extrapolate from one to the other.
What do you call it, Scotty?
Oh, yeah.
What do you
Have
call
a
it?
catchy name.
I got nothing.
Hotbox.
Heat vision.
Hotbox. Fantastic. Heat leak.
Heat leak.
I like
Heat leak.
Hotbox.
Hotbox. That's fun. It'd get my attention. I
Yeah.
bet hotbox.com might be already taken, though.
Hotbox.org, even better.
That's right.
All right, Leo. What do you have for us this week?
Okay. So you guys have several times over the last 40 episodes mentioned Stumble Upon as something that you remember and look back upon fondly. Stumble Upon's key insight, one of the things that they did really well was they used what's called a bookmarklet. So along the top where your bookmarks bar is, usually you have those be websites. But you can also instead bookmark a piece of code. And when you're on a web page and you press that bookmark, a little bit of code runs. Parallel to that, so park that idea. Parallel to that, there is the website Rap Genius, which is now called Genius, had this idea years and years ago that I can't get out of my head, where for a minute, when they got all their venture capital money, they really wanted to be the annotation layer on every web page on the web. They're like, we can have people commenting about what these rap lyrics mean. What about if we could be on any web page? They launched it for like a hot minute and then decided, no, we're just going to stick to music lyrics, and then rolled back everything. And now they don't do that anymore. I would love to build a service where you're on any web page on the web, the Facebook homepage, that one interesting blog post, that crazy New York Times article, and you press the bookmarklet, the button, and it launches an audio call without leaving that web page with only other people that are currently looking at that web page. So it's a discussion chat room thing for whatever it is that you're on. And the second you leave that web page, you're no longer in the call anymore. And it'd be pretty easy to build all this because there's something called WebRTC. So browsers can now talk directly to each other pretty easily without having to whatever. There's a bunch of technology reasons why this is now possible where it wouldn't have been 20 years ago. And I think it would be so cool to be like, wow, this is a really interesting news story. I can't believe that thing in Iran just happened. Or, wow, there's a lot of people who are interested in the front page of whatever today. And you just click this link that's in your toolbar and boom, you're in a Zoom or Google Meet-like experience, but you haven't left the page. So you can just discuss with other people, right? There would be moderation challenges, of course, like anyone talking on the internet for any reason. A little dicey, but on the whole, I feel like that would be a really, I would try it, a chat roulette, but topical, Omegle sort of thing. That's the pitch.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I always love going
save
on
Clubhouse.
Yeah, I was thinking
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse came to mind right away, but like,
what is Clubhouse?
It's a bygone COVID project.
Yeah, it was like, what is it? Like a group. It was like public group audio rooms, like public Discord channels.
Yeah, it was like the precursor to Twitter Spaces, which like just ripped it off immediately. And then
so social network where it's all just audio calls, and some people in the call are able to unmute, and some people can only listen. So like live podcasty kind of.
Oh, that's cool.
It was. It still is around. Did it finally die?
I don't know.
It's still around. I just looked because I forgot what it was called. But yeah, I guess this reminds me of Clubhouse. And then for moderation, that's easy. You do the group boot thing. Should we boot this
vote?
Yeah, that's very easy. You get a certain amount. Boot,
okay.
Right. But I think that's really interesting. I think there'd be a lot of people that just be like wanting to talk about this. It would bring more discussion. I think it's actually got like a social element that's beneficial, than leaving a comment on a Discus plugin, right?
Yeah,
or whatever
right,
that's
right.
completely anonymous. Like this is like the next level. It's like texting versus phone call, like that level of difference and intimacy or whatever, like connection, human connection. Like that's
Yeah, it's easy to be brave in the comments section because you're a username and some typing, right? But if you're actually hearing the other person's intonation in their voice and stuff, you're probably a little bit less brash. You would hope. Us salt of the earth Midwesterners would hope.
Yeah.
You ever go on like the most niche of niche subreddits of just whatever crazy hobby you're into, and you always see like 2 people online, 3 people online. It just gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling like there's someone else here with me on this. I'd like this idea just for that reason.
The Reddits of the world could build something like this, where it's got a button on Twitter. Twitter rips off Meerkat and Clubhouse and all these, right? Or you've got your Reddit button that says launch audio chat room. But if this was like across all services in a different separate thing, I feel like it'd be more useful, you know?
I would want to see some... I'm not sure how useful it would be if it was just like random people. Like, I would think people would want to be able to like form some sort of social relationship with other users. And how would you envision that working?
Well, it's launching JavaScript code. So in theory, you could build your own UI. You know, when you press the button, it could have something in the corner or whatever. It doesn't just necessarily have to be invisible. So you could have a user naming. You could have how many people online indicators and stuff. You can build as much or as little infrastructure around it as you wanted. Yeah. Like, imagine you just go to your YouTube channel's homepage and see like 12 people online right now. Do you want to join in? Like, that could be interesting,
That's what I
was
thinking. Yeah, like if I had a friends list and I saw them discussing a certain article, I'm in. You know,
you press the button somewhere and you say, like, those 5 people that I've friended over the years, right now 3 of them are over on New York Magazine or whatever. Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, like social, it's like browsing your news, but you're talking about it. That'd be kind of interesting. I don't know.
I like the idea of like creating a physical space, but like there would have to be different subdivisions of it, as in like there's 1,000 different bowling alleys that everybody's in.
Yeah, totally.
That's good. That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Or like a bunch of like, you're all in the same like room, but different alleys, like group of 6 or 10 people at a time, right? That's probably how it'll work. And then you can rotate your rooms or whatever if you don't like shuffle me in this pot. Like, sure. I don't like this group anymore.
The homepage of this site could have the top 50 rooms or whatever. And maybe there's a max cap of 10 and it sticks you in a random room and you don't get any more than... Yeah, because obviously voice chat gets a little unwieldy when you reach a certain critical mass.
That recent game you showed us, Leo, on Steam, where it's all about the audio and proximity.
VR chat? No?
Yes, the one that's coming out from the Untitled Goose Game guys. Yeah.
I'm just picturing like an overhead view of like just a bunch of bubbles in this massive bowling alley room, and you can just kind of move your bubble around to different groups and talk to different groups all about it. And then you can shift over to this one over here, and it's all voice and proximity.
I did a virtual, I've been to like a higher ed tech conference every year for 10 years. And during COVID, we did a virtual thing. And there's a site called gather.town that'll do that. It's basically a top-down. It looks kind of like Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
You're controlling a little guy, but it's proximity chat. So you can build little virtual rooms and walk from room to room and hear each other and stuff. Something like that does already exist. Yeah.
Combine it with yours.
That's kind of nice because then if you have somebody screaming, you know, like
yeah, you can just
walk away. The microphone,
go over here,
just move away. Walk away. You could also turn this into a competitive app, you know, like of course every room has got a debate winner and they get to move on to the next room.
Who is loudest in this room?
I have 12 debate bucks or whatever from winning. How do you win the comment section of a news article?
I mean, everybody likes to feel like they won, so let's just gamify the heck out of it and throw it into audio.
What about just minutes spent being productive and having a nice time? There has to be a winner.
That doesn't fuel the internet. That's...
No, the internet doesn't work that way.
I don't know. I kind of like that, Leo.
The internet and altruism are like rare.
But can you combine the I can't say the word with just actually gamify that though, and make it the more, like you said, the more constructive the conversation you have, the more points you get. I love that idea.
How do you quantify
it's gonna
that?
Force people. I don't know. Have an AI do it in the background.
The Reddit upvote and the Reddit downvote are supposed to be not. I agree with this opinion, but. I think that this person is contributing to the conversation, whether I agree to them or not. There was a thing 20 years ago called Reddit. You kind of want to like have like when you're in a call and it has like thumbs ups and hearts going by because somebody's liking it hard, maybe we could do something like that where it's like they're being productive, even if what you just say is something I disagree with. I don't know.
I mean, something like that. That's kind of cool. Incentivize altruism, I guess, I don't know. Or like, well... Maybe it's not altruism. It's just more like you may not be even if you're the loudest voice, you may not be the most popular, but nobody wants to say anything because you're the loudest voice doesn't mean everybody agrees with you. Sure. Right? I don't know. I just wanted to spin it. I wanted to throw some.
All we have to do is just solve how to be good people on the internet. I'm sure nobody's thought about this problem before.
Right? Well, I'll tell you one thing you shouldn't do is make it only positive signals.
Yeah.
I think that has never worked, and yet we're still trying it.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
But I feel like starting with audio is a good place to start. It's harder to hide. I guess you'd have the occasional wacko who's like putting soundboard memes and making themselves sound like Darth Vader or whatever. But for every one of those, you probably would find quite a few people who just want to chat.
Right. I mean, like Omegle and Chat Roulette still exists, right? Because
And
they
like Clubhouse
banned the
and
heck out
stuff.
of it.
Yeah, but like there's no thing to talk about. It's like going on a first date and seeing a movie first so you have the thing to talk about at dinner, you know? Or like if you're on the article or the homepage of Facebook or whatever it is that people want to meet up and chat about, then you have something to discuss, you know?
Dude, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Even if like influencers did that, like you could create news influencers instead of that would be like really good interpreters of their own like news articles or something. Like I really like the way this guy interprets news. Right now I just interpret it by myself. Right? I just read it and hope that Twitter agrees or something, right? Or find my little echo chamber.
I wonder if a good pilot would be like a live Wikipedia talk page.
Yeah, I love that. Just on one site. It could be like a little plug-in that just runs on there. Because Wikipedia is pretty neutral stuff to discuss most of the time.
Yeah. That's actually cool. That's awesome. Like you can even drop like voice notes or something, right? Oh, I don't know if that's
Asynchronous.
you're kind of missing out on the live aspect of it, right?
That's kind of fun. Wikipedia is a good spot. There are pages for like Benjamin Netanyahu or whatever. That would probably get a little spicy. But on the whole, like page for list of guitars or whatever is probably pretty innocuous.
So Wikipedia would love that. Create events, get more donors, more donors, more donors, right? They love that. But I mean, if you create more,
Jimmy needs your $5 again.
But I think that would be create more engagement on Wikipedia rather than it being a reference site. It's it's like discussion,
Healthy
too.
discussion.
Why not?
Well, I mean, you referenced the talk page. I mean, not a lot of people see the talk page for any given thing, but like Wikipedia is pretty spicy for back and forth edit wars and debate and controversy and stuff. It's just all like under the surface. So this could maybe be a healthy way to bring that up and make Wikipedia a little more interesting.
I want to see this.
So any given page, you can see the list of edits, but then there's a commentary about why those edits are being made. Like, this person doesn't actually deserve to be called noble or whatever. And you're like, oh, interesting. You know. Yeah.
Leo, I think you could truly circumvent Godwin's law if you just had people like actually talking voice to voice on
the
there.
Nazi one?
Yeah.
Godwin's law was every internet argument eventually dissolves into being a Nazi debate or whatever. Yeah.
Maybe it would just stall it for longer.
Russell, what do you got for us this week?
All right, so recently I've been dealing with this change in my car insurance. It went up like $200 to $300, and it really irks me because I'm like, why does this happen? And then I have to go let me call some people. Maybe I'll get the right letter in the mail to make me consider going to that other car insurance company.
Do those work on you?
Sometimes.
The letter in the mail? All right.
Sometimes it's like, all right, $700. Like, you know what? It's more of a reminder to try to get my rates lower.
Sure.
Right? Kind of feels like Comcast, you know, when you buy the and then they upgrade. You know, I'm just feeling like one of those things. So I would love to create a experience where I just post anything that I'm not loyal to that seems to be one of those like relationship-based businesses like car insurance, home insurance, lawn care, anything like that. I will upload my invoice, upload my contract, upload anything anybody wants to know.
My social credit card number.
Not, except for
my home address.
For that. Like my policy, right? I would post my policy publicly if it meant that I get quotes for literally the exact same policy for less money.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I am sure there are car insurance companies and new agents out there all the time looking to get a deal. So they just literally go on this website, find everybody that has similar car insurance policies and just outbid my current rate. And literally you can switch on a dime. Like they take care of, like when I switch homeowners insurance or car insurance, they like literally take care of everything. I might have to make a couple phone calls, but for $300, like sure, why not? Like boom.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, I'm like anti-loyalist to a lot of companies. They just want my money and I just want this service. Why do I have to like be in a relationship with these people? They don't want to be in a relationship with me, really. Like just sell me your service. I will get the best rate, move on. And then, this app that's it. You just post and receive better bids.
It's kind of like a consumer side RFP.
Yeah. Or your request for proposals.
Yeah.
Yes. Universal, nationwide.
The personal version of an RFP. So we have to do those at work if it's over a certain amount of money. Most businesses need that. So I need to make a big purchase. You have to get quotes from everybody in this space. I like that. But you're coming to them with an already existing plan. That's interesting. That would help drive transparency up and prices down, probably, if nothing else.
Yeah. I like the idea of starting from beat this, basically.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the name. Beat this.
Purchasing a home has taught me one about insurance brokers that literally do this. They're just like, here's my insurance right now. Someone give me a better rate, and they go off and find it and take a cut of that, and everyone wins. But also, you can do that with mortgage lenders too. I didn't know this. They're just like, here, post your closing costs for your mortgage, and here's the interest rate that you get, and you're based on your credit and blah, blah, blah. And then all these other lenders are like, well, I could knock a couple thousand off that closing cost, and I could not charge you for this line item right here if you come with me, because I want that loan. And it's just make them all fight each other. I love that idea, Russell. Apply that to everything you possibly can.
Everything,
Beat this,
man. I don't
beat this.
Yeah.
That might also be taken already.
So, I mean, like, car insurance, I think, is the easiest one. Homeowners insurance, even easier. Because, like, literally, they take care of everything. They call up the other home insurance company and be like, they're switching to me. Ah, shucks. You know, I'm sure they have a great conversation. But it's like, I don't know. And then, you know, our services could be like, we could do some concierge. We can make some money on top of, like, every transfer, right? We help alleviate the bidding process or the phone calls, right?
Make it as easy as possible.
I went to buy a heat gun recently, and the local Lowe's and Ace Hardware and Hometown Shop were all $189.99, and one other store in town was $91 for the exact same product. I almost wish I could take your website and do it for that one purchase that I need to make, no matter how big or small it is, that does the comparison bidding and shopping for me. Like I know that I want to buy a new car, so every local dealer is bidding in an RFP process. Here's the model that I want, but you 12 dealers in the area all have to submit a bid or something, no matter how big or small. A reverse eBay.
Dude, I traveled to Ohio to buy my car for like thousands of dollars less.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Why not make it a national brand? And there's a car salesman that's like, I got to turn inventory. This guy's willing to travel. He's going to buy a plane ticket to come to me. Like, sure. Yeah. I'll save him $500. Reverse RFP. That's PFR.
I was going to say RRFP, but I like that better.
PFR. Ritual.
PFR.biz.
PFR.
My new cool site.
I think this goes for like lawn care, child care. Leo, I think for your idea,
child care to the lowest bidder is
I'll take them.
I'll throw them. I'll throw them in a shed if it's $5 cheaper. I don't care. Discount bargain bin child care is what I'm after.
Maybe not that one.
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes it matters less, yeah.
But I think for purchases that you're not going to do right away, but if you got for the right price, that's really interesting. Because like Facebook Marketplace, you know, it's really addicting, or like whatever, Craigslist or whatever, to like browse what's stuff that you didn't want to buy and now you are going to buy it because it's
such
cheap.
A good deal.
I think the reverse could work if you're willing to sell something, but you weren't until you saw somebody willing to buy it.
My friend and former guest on this show, Steph, is part of several different pallet groups where they post, I am seeking this Ninja blender, and all these people who buy the big pallets of Amazon returns will be like, okay, so I know that there was one person who wanted this. It's like a matchmaking service, but for people like what you're saying, people who want to buy this thing versus people who want to sell this thing. People have sort of made that happen, I think, ad hoc on Facebook, if I'm understanding that right, but that doesn't seem very well organized. And if you could put structure around it, I think there's a demand for that.
I thought you were talking about now that I'm in a commercial office space and I get to see the pallet people.
Oh, sure.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like they're wheeling around pallets, right?
Well, like I'm always fascinated by how like when you want to get rid of a pallet, you just put it out back and someone's going to take it.
Yep.
That's so true.
And
wood pallets.
Yeah, there's like an ecosystem where there's a bounty on the pallets and people just they make businesses out of driving around and picking up pallets and then delivering it to the people who have a bounty on the pallet.
Hunting for the best pallet too. Best wood, right? Best structure.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
I don't remember. Oh no, bidding. PFRs.
Yeah. I really want this for HVAC companies because that has been my big crusade of how are you coming up with that price? Well, you're not telling me because you're not itemizing it. So you just have to get bids from a million different people and it's absolutely obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. And there's no structure to it and everyone does it a little different and they all want to come and see it. And
All right, Alec, what do you got for us this week?
So I have been going on a bit of an organizational project to try to get all of my crap together. And I've realized there's a category of product that I would really like to have, which is basically a toolbox which has reverse minibar technology, where it will tell you every tool that you've removed.
Yeah.
And will give you a list of all the tools that you have taken out of your toolbox so you put them back.
In the right one.
Yes.
That's excellent. So you're doing like an initial setup where I have these 5 boxes. I know that this is going to be my this and that's going to be my that. And you're like inventorying it.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of ways this could be done. My first thought was literally like a mini bar in a hotel where there's a bunch of little switches and you can just program in that like, okay, this tool's missing because those switches haven't picked up. But then I realized that sounds expensive. So then I thought we could do like RFID tags like libraries use for their books. And if you just have an RFID tag on all your tools, if there were some sort of a toolbox that can do a mass scan and tell you you're missing these tools, I would pay a lot for that.
I've worked on something similar before for a medical device where doctors would actually leave pieces of gauze or tools inside patients. And so they would RFID every single thing inside that would be used on the table. And then when they're done with the surgery, they would sweep them with an RFID reader to be like, is anything still in there? No, great.
Gosh.
We can keep going. So I like the RFID methodology of that. That makes the most sense to me.
That sucks that that's necessary.
Yeah.
Damn.
Next level.
Well, it makes me feel better about leaving tools around the place.
I guess so.
You ever left a pair of scissors in someone before?
Not that I know of.
You guys know that like stick that like, you use to find water in cartoons?
Oh.
No, I am thinking about this.
Little point. Yeah.
But like, what if you did that for finding your tool? Like when you lose it.
No, the stick. Can you go back to the stick? What's the stick?
Everybody does
I'm
this.
forgetting the name of it. It's
Rain.
the water thing.
It's in the shape of a Y.
Yeah.
Upside down.
So Y stick, and yet it points it towards water.
What?
It's an old timey like you would hire people to find where to dig a well. And I can't remember what this is called. It's got a
was it
weird
just pseudoscience?
name.
Was this a real thing?
It's pseudoscience.
Okay, all right.
Although people claim
100%
to
real.
be able to sense the waves, you know. There's actually a really interesting discussion that Adam Savage has on his Tested channel about Mythbusters wanting to test this.
Okay.
Let's go. It's real. I told you.
I don't think that was the lesson. It's not. Yeah.
Hey, it's like this. It's like a USB. It just looks around and it finds your tool. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. Going back to like, that would be cool.
Well, if they are all tagged, then yeah, you could have something kind of like an AirTaggy type thing, but it'd have to be pretty close though.
Well, and for me, like part of what I'm intrigued by So I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory here. Have you seen, this would go viral every once in a while where people will be like, oh, McDonald's is making sure homeless people don't get free drinks. They put chips in the cups now.
No. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. In the bottom,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, so when I was a cast member at Disney World, that was a thing there.
Oh, it was.
This is a lot older than the people seem to know, because at the resorts, you can buy a refillable mug, which you will program to work for 1, 2, 3 days or your entire stay. But even the paper cups that they give you to buy one time have an RFID sticker on the bottom of it. And so, like, if those stickers are so cheap that Disney's putting them on paper cups, why can't we just have them to stick on our tools and crap?
Yeah. Totally. I mean, yeah, even
At least the
libraries.
10 millimeter socket wrench. Yeah.
Libraries are not famously well-funded places, especially nowadays. So if they can put it in all their books.
Yeah, I want a consumer version or consumer-facing version of that integrated into a toolbox, and some sort of shameful alarm goes off if you haven't put the tool back in 5 hours.
If you step out of the room and your tools aren't all put back.
There you go.
Dude, I mean, you can apply this to so many things, like toys.
Yeah, I was going to say
right?
collectors. There's the
Toys.
people who are like really into like, I don't know, Funko Pops or something, or their video game collection or something that they're like wanting to keep inventoried and all that and organized beautifully. I'm sure that, yeah, there's all kinds of people who'd have need for something like this.
Oh, bar.
I've been trying to find a solution for this for a long time, Alec, and the only one that I've come up with is like Gridfinity in general, where like my drawer is so beautifully laid out that if something is missing from it, it is very obvious, and it like angers me to the core that like I need to put this tool back, otherwise my perfect setup is gone.
Unfortunately,
That's the only way to get past my ADD.
I know my brain does not work that way, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
You gotta have that
As you
OCD.
can see.
well, and the thing
Yep.
is, I'm usually pretty good at knowing where the tools are. I have this internal catalog, but then what always happens is the thing I actually need. I have so many measuring tapes and utility knives because and I actually, the last time I needed utility knives, I specifically bought them in bright red, hoping that would help. Didn't help.
I have like 4 tool bags that travel depending on like the basement spot, the garage spot, and then like the other spot, right? Like I mean, yeah, there's like corners of my space that it would be good to know, like, all right, I don't have to dig through this bag for 5 minutes. Like, wave the wand. Nope, not in there. Wave the wand. Nope. That'd be so nice.
Or the bag itself is doing it. You pull up the app, and then the bag is saying, like, oh, bag number 3. Well, I don't know where bag number 3 is, but it has these 12 things in it. You search for WREN. Oh, wrench? That's in bag 5, and that's the orange one, right?
Whoa, are you saying the bag itself
Why not?
is tracking constantly?
It would know what's
That's
inside of it.
Oh, sorry.
Or that it
I
was the
thinking,
last
like,
one.
I don't know. I thought you were just selling, like, no, this, okay, that's way
That would be
cool.
pretty easy to do, relatively.
That is awesome.
Like, having
Yeah.
them all have little coin cell batteries and stuff sucks, but if you have each tool just with an RFID tag, then there's no battery. It's all passive.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of why, like, you know, you've probably sensed I get jaded when the tech industry makes things overly complicated, and then everybody gets excited about an AirTag and they forget about the 2-cent RFID tag that's been around for years and years.
100%.
And so, like, I would like that, but more, and for people.
Totally. There is no consumer-facing RFID, is there? That's interesting.
This is a great bookshelf, too. Like, a bookshelf, like, would sell this. Like, you could power that thing up, plug it in. You know what I mean? Like, you could...
They're pretty flexible for like if you take a stack of 8 library books that have those tags in them and you put them on the reader, it's able to get all 8 of them at once pretty easily.
I remember being, like, mind blown when I used the self-checkout at the library. Just blunk, do-do-do-do-do. Whoa.
Yeah, totally.
How hard is the reader? Like, is that reader, like, the library book reader, like...
It's a pad. It's just like a little, like,
That's right.
plastic
You're
thing
limited
to set
by
it on.
power consumption on it. That's what I've learned with my wand waving medical one. It's like you need a decent bit of power in order to project the wave enough that I can read it from a distance. A couple centimeters is easy.
Yeah, okay.
But we were trying to do a wireless version, and no, but it's a toolbox. You already have a drill battery in it. Just plug the drill battery into the thing.
There you go.
It could be, yeah, those Craftsman toolboxes. My dad has one, obviously, right? All Midwestern dads have some sort of like crazy, and like you pull it out and you're like, damn, this is like nice. But it would be cool if it was, you plug it into a wall because it's always in the same corner of the garage. And then every time you pull out, you know, you can see if I took it or if my dad took it or if my brother took the tool out, you know, and I don't get blamed for it.
It could be like Tile and AirTag's like group network where everyone's toolboxes are ratting each other out. Like, Steve, your neighbor has that screwdriver. Oh, I knew it.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's fantastic.
Find your lost tools.
I knew he took my wrench.
Well,
Mesh
Scott's
network.
going to have to do a deep dive in my inventory real quick.
You have a lot of his stuff.
I probably like, I think between the three of us, like we've bought like tons of tool drill bits, like just
There's so many.
and we've just lost the exchange. I have your air compressor still.
I have your
from,
paint
like,
sprayer.
Before
like-
COVID.
Yeah, before COVID.
It's all good. I obviously don't need it.
Yeah. This would be great for, I have a bunch of cables in this.
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh. I wish I knew how many HDMI, USB-C, iPhone cables. Just throw it in a bag. And then, right? And literally like, you know it's in there. You just got to dig for it and you throw it back in the... I mean,
Now that we're dads, we have to have the box that's got the spider web of cables.
I've got a few of those, and I'm not even a dad.
Yep. Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
You reach a certain age.
And the other reason why I kind of wish RFID would just be more... I don't think people are aware of how many kinds of tags and how resilient they can be. Because going back to my Disney days, Disney has an RFID tag sewn into every piece of costuming. And
Oh, do they?
when you,
wow.
like, you can wash them... Well, I should say this is knowledge from 2014, but like we were totally allowed to take our costumes home and wash them. And by the way, costume is just Disney speak for uniform. Everything is showbiz down there.
Yeah.
But like when you return your costume to costuming, you would just put it down a chute and you'd see a little screen that would tell you, oh, you've returned this item. And
That's
like,
cool.
Wow.
that's been around for decades. Why don't we have that?
It's waterproof, no batteries. Yeah, totally. Dang, where were you 10 episodes ago? I was talking about something like this for my closet. I just want to know, like, what shirts in this closet have I not worn in the last year? And I was trying to figure out something like that. That's really great. I want Disney's...
You know, the backwards hanger system?
That was told to me after the fact. Yes, someone has mentioned, a listener has told me that you take all of your hangers and you start either forward or backward, and then as you wear them, you reverse them so that you know, oh, I have worn that shirt or whatever. If I was only smart enough to put shirts back on the right hangers.
There's no way I would know.
Remembering.
There's no way.
Yes, that's smart though. I should start doing that.
So, like, if I were to buy 100 RFID pills, you know, I'm just imagining little tiny, like,
Sure. Yeah.
are they pills?
They're like
Are they
stickers.
little-
Yeah,
I've
doesn't
seen
matter.
stickers. Okay, I guess they're stickers. I guess why not just buy 100 of them and just make an app that's like 1 through 100, and you just stick them all, and then I guess you
It's
need
the reader.
and then you have a bunch of.
Where's the reader? The toolbox makes sense.
You have to buy it. You're right. How big would the readers be? I think this would be so cool in like every junk drawer, every junk bag.
It seems like a DeWalt or a Craftsman or a Milwaukee could just like shoehorn this into all their existing stuff, kind of like others like the works with Apple Find My program, where like they're shipping the tools and the cheap whatevers with the tags built in or the sticker pack that you could add on after the fact.
That would be worth it for like any contractor. If they lose a tool, that's hundreds of dollars maybe, right? Like
Every
Holy
string
moly.
trimmer and leaf blower and yeah, all that stuff.
that alone, that's the market. Alec, you can make billions on that, man. Just every contractor would just have to buy it.
This is why I get so frustrated with the tech industry, because it's like, this is not rocket surgery. This is something that has been in practice for a long time, but they keep reinventing it.
Yep.
Is it too complicated? Like, what is so
I think it's too
unattractive?
simple. That's the problem.
It's too simple. It needs to
It's
be-
hard to monetize.
Can't make enough money off of it. Yeah.
Like AirTags, like went next level with it, right? You're saying,
But
right?
then that's a
Yeah,
closed
like-
ecosystem. Right?
Like, the AirTag has some benefits, but then everybody's like, well, if it can't do what an AirTag does, it's useless.
Totally.
That's right. Maybe it's just not branded well. Is it like too open source? Is it open source? Is that why? Maybe that's why it's too simple.
It is kind of an open standard anyone could make. Yeah.
Huh.
It's hard to make a closed walled garden around this because it's all so open. Yeah. This does seem like there's, if not a business out of there, at least like a Gritfinity type, group of people who come together and make some like, we hacked together a thing for this. Well, dear listener, if you are looking for your tools and still can't find them, thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed yourself. And thank you so much, Alec, for being on here. This was awesome.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh,
I hope my idea was worthy of being on here.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be thinking about it for a long time.
Great.
This is, yeah.
Alec's YouTube channel, where you can learn about all kinds of eclectic things like battery standards and dishwashing pods and the color brown and old physical media formats and, of course, heat pumps, is at youtube.com/technologyconnections. Our website is spitball.show. There you can find links to our YouTube channel, other social media. Please email us feedback, comments, ideas. We'd love to hear from you. We are podcast@spitball.show. That's also how you can follow us in the Fediverse, such as Mastodon. We are podcast@spitball.show, and we are on Blue Sky at spitball.show. Our subreddit is r/spitballshow. Our intro-outro music is Swingers by Bonkers Beat Club. Please, if you wouldn't mind, I know you are in that cool bookmarklet chat room with all your friends. Tell them about Spitball. We'd love to have them as a listener. Please, if you wouldn't mind, leave us a review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is that you're listening to us on. That's the best way for people to find out about the show. New episodes coming out in 2 weeks. We will see you then.